Motorsport. Haven't done much work on the car because we've been too busy working on that big sucker of a trailer, but race season's only a couple of weeks away. We've got to get stuck into this and start getting it organised. We had big plans in the off season, we're going to change everything, nothing of that's happened. So as per usual, it's a last minute rush to get it going. First things first, we've got to fix up the brakes. If you remember last time, the brake pads flew out while we were racing. Not a good way to finish the season, but we've got all the bits here we need to fix it. So we'll get stuck into that and we'll get that job done. As you can see here, there's one brake pad missing. That's the rotor in the middle. Wait for it to focus. That's the titanium rotor in the middle. As you can see, the brake pad on the other side is pretty worn out. We knew that going into the last race that the brake pads were pretty worn out, but the main concern is, and the reason they fell out, is I used these Smith titanium pads, which are really, really good, but they're not actually pinned in with the pins on the brake pads. They're not actually held in. So they only rely on the actual caliper itself to hold them in. Now that brake rotor there, if you look at that, is not quite central in the center of the caliper, which once it started to get worn out, allowed that brake pad to drop out. That's actually a titanium heat shield on the back of the brake pad. It stops your brake fluid boiling. So that's that spacer here. This is a floating rotor mount, and there's a little spacer in here that adjusts where that is. So what we're going to have to do is rip the rotor off, rip the caliper off, rip the rotor off, rip the pads out, put some fresh pads in it. And I've actually got a new spacer, which is the wrong size. That one there was the wrong size when I bought it. I brought two of them at the time. I hacked that one off with an angle grinder, probably not the right thing to do, but as always, it was Friday night before a race meeting when we got that done. So what we're going to do is machine up a spacer that's slightly longer than that. I'll get the calipers out in a minute and measure that, how much more it's got to be. Get that rotor over into the center of that caliper, and then we shouldn't have this problem with the brake pads falling out. I hacked that with an angle grinder to make right. That's what it looked like originally. So as you can see, I've cut a fair bit off it. A little bit too much apparently. 1.5 mil too much. So that's about 18.8. So that's about 18.8. So plus 1.5 is 20.3. Which puts it just over the outside of that bigger lip if I measure off both ends. So, just so happens I know a bloke with a lathe, so I'm going to head out to my old man's and fire up his lathe and get this right, so we can put it back together. I'm no specialist machinist, but pretty happy with that. Got her all lathed up, ready to go back together. Throw some discs back on and the rotors back on and the pads in. I even turned the rotor around on the carrier for all you jokers that are going to whinge about me rotor being the wrong way later on in the comments. Yeah. at that. It's in titanium heat shields. Obviously doing their job, they're kind of turned blue. Put them in. Heads in. Trying to clip. Not my finger. Just like that, we're done. As you can see, that rotor sits really pretty close to dead center in there now. So hopefully that means we won't have any problems with the brake pads falling out anymore. Probably should have replaced them before then, but we're trying to get, yeah, we had one race to go and that was it. So we're trying to get the last race done. We'll keep that in mind for next time. We've got a nice brand new carbon fibre brake pedal to go in. We've got to do all the engine maintenance. We've got to clean up the headers and paint them. Got to run them to the blaster and get them cleaned up and painted. Probably change some tyres. We might even hit the test track at some stage. So until next time,